Hey everyone, a friend in weed is a friend indeed. That is one of the slogans behind a new cannabis initiative, Friends in Weed, out of Colorado. And here to tell us more about it is Heather Larimer, the CMO of 1906. How are you doing, Heather?
Oh, keeping it real during the quarantine.
So tell us more about this initiative, Friends in Weed.
So about a month ago, a coalition of 4 cannabis brands came together to try to do something to help two parts of the service industry that we saw were really suffering. That is bud tenders who rely heavily on tips. So anything that impacts store traffic is a huge torpedo to their income. And then restaurants, which we all know are suffering so terribly right now and are such an important part of the fabric of our lives. So we thought, well, how can we help both of these groups simultaneously? And we started this project and quickly landed on the name Friends in Weed.
Well, it's a catchy name for sure, and I do like the slogan. So tell us more about how people can get involved in this initiative. What does that look like?
Friends in Weed started as a business-to-business donation vehicle. Cannabis brands who are wholesalers helping the dispensaries that they sell to and helping the restaurant industry. But we quickly had such an outpouring of support from the community at large that we added on a civilian donation part to the project. So the way that people can get involved is to go to myfriendsinweed.com and either make a donation or buy a t-shirt or both. We have very cute t-shirts that say, "I've got friends in weed." So you can proudly flaunt your connections to the cannabis industry.
That sounds wonderful. And what has the response been like in the community? You said there's a lot of positive momentum.
Yeah,
Talk a little bit more about it.
I think the budtenders have been really touched that wholesalers are thinking about them. Restaurants have been really touched that the cannabis industry wants to help support them. We all know that there's a very authentic connection between cannabis and food. So people who use cannabis like to eat, and people who like to eat tend to like cannabis. So yeah, people have been really positive, but it's also been really encouraging to hear how our colleagues, other cannabis brands, have responded. I think we all want to do something, and cannabis is such a culture of sharing and generosity that it feels really authentic to have a way to share with different parts of our industry and community.
Absolutely. And I feel like one of the most positive narratives, especially in the consumer sector, has been cannabis and that it's now an essential business.
Yeah.
I feel like that's given it so much more positive momentum as well. So tell us, fast forward a little bit, after all this COVID-19, what does the future of Friends in Weed look like? Where do you go from here?
Speaking for myself, I would say that there is going to be need in the community at large for a long time. We all know that this pandemic is going to have far-reaching impacts. And even when that subsides, there are always people in need in the community. And I love the idea that Friends in Weed could be a coalition of cannabis businesses helping wherever the community needs us long term. Of course,
I love that.
But there's always somebody that needs help. Shit happens and people need help. Those are as true as like the sky is blue. So
yeah, well, it's great to see more of the positive stories coming out of such a global pandemic and crisis. Well, thank you so much, Heather, for taking the time. So we'll check out My Friends in Weed, and everybody, hope you have a wonderful, safe time, and we will be in touch, Heather.
Thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.